Well, kia ora and welcome to the Harness Half Hour, proudly brought to you by Airpark Canterbury and HRNZ Marketing. I'm Jess Smith, and this week on the show we chat to Sarah O'Reilly, winner of the Henley Formula Australasian Young Drivers Championship. Phil Kennard, part owner of Ultimate Sniper, joins us to talk about winning an InterDom Grand Final, and we interview Graeme Henley of Alabar stud following Majestic Sun's big night at Alexandra Park. Plus, we have our usual bookie update with Richard Wilson. But first, here are this week's headlines. Ultimate Sniper went through the InterDom Carnival unbeaten when winning the Grand Final at Alexandra Park in stunning fashion last Saturday night, while Winterfell won the trotting final, heading home a Majestic Sun Quinella. Majestic Man was second and Massive Metro was home third. Copy That was successful in the Group 2 Alabar Classic on Saturday as well, winning for trainer Ray Green and driver David Butcher. One Change was second and Smooth Deal was home third. Belle of Montana cemented her place as Queen of Alexandra Park with her dominant win in the Queen of Hearts. Oscar Bonavina exploded home in the free-for-all trot also on Saturday night, heading home Enhance Your Calm and Tickle Me Pink. And Sarah O'Reilly, as mentioned, was the winner of the Henley Formula Australasian Young Drivers Championship in a thrilling points finish, holding off Cam Hart and Cherie Tomlinson. Well, it's been a massive year for her. Sarah O'Reilly crowned the Henley Formula Australasian Young Driving Champ at Alexandra Park on Friday. Sarah, congratulations. It's a silly question, but how did it feel to win that championship?
Yeah, it feels amazing, and I just didn't expect it, and it's just unbelievable, really.
Of course, you were the winner of the New Zealand Drivers Champs. Do you ever go into that series with a plan, or are you just hoping for the best outcome possible?
I just hope to just drive my best with every horse that I'm given, and just hope for a bit of luck, and just try to keep positive, and that's it, really.
Yeah. Oh, of course. And of course, you had your family there as well. That would have meant a lot to them.
My mum and dad were at all the race meetings, and it was really great to have them there. And I think that they were pretty proud of me.
I know they're pretty proud of you, Sarah. The whole country was. What were you feeling going into that final heat? Because it was such a close competition this year with so many heats, which was awesome. But, anything could have happened in that last heat.
Yeah, I was just worried about the points with Cameron Hart because he needed to win or come second, and I had to finish last, but I just focused on getting my horse around, and it just worked out good.
Yeah. So when you realised that you were officially the winner, did you feel relief, or what were you feeling?
Yeah, relieved, because it was kind of stressful that night before, but it was a bit of relief.
Yeah. And Sarah, what kind of an experience was it to be able to travel with this group of top young drivers from around Australasia? Did you get a bit of time to get to know the Australians and form a bit of friendship there?
They were really fun, and they were great people, and they were a great bunch to travel around with, and they made it really fun.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Well, Sarah, congratulations again. It's a huge effort to win that championship, and now you get to go back as defending champ, so that's even better.
Yeah, it'd be great to drive in Australia as well, because I've never driven there. Yeah. So that would be good.
Yeah. Oh, well, congratulations. I'm sure I can speak on behalf of the whole industry when we say we're extremely proud of you. Well done, and I hope you have a great Christmas and bring on another big 2020 year for you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And social media news now from around the world. Starting off with New Zealand, Ange Mugford recorded her first winner when successful with Nightlights at Motu Carrara on Sunday. You can find out more about that on our website and also on our Facebook page. Plus, keep an eye out for the 7 Sharp story on Ginger Woodhouse and Lionel Cinnamon. That'll feature on our social media this week. From Australia, Tiger Tara and Field Marshal are all set for Grand Circuit racing. For more, check out Adam Hamilton's Aussie News on the HRNZ website. And from the US, once again, America's #1 driver, Tim Tetrick, is embarking on that unique journey to Finland. He's had success already, and if you want to keep up to date on Tim's trip, you can find him on Tetrick Racing on Facebook. One of the winning owners of the InterDom Grand Final Championship, of course, ultimate sniper, successful, undefeated through the whole series. And joining me is Phil Kennard. Phil, silly question, but how are you feeling now a few days on from that win?
Still a little bit weather beaten, to be fair. It was a good celebration after the event on Saturday night. And yeah, a bit of sleep deprivation still going on.
Well, lucky it's nearly Christmas and people can forgive you for that. But of course, it was a phenomenal performance for a 4-year-old to go through that series unbeaten.
Well, it was spectacular, really, because you've only got to go back to the Flying Mile, and we weren't really sure where we were going or what we were doing with him. But then when he came out on Cup Day and did what he did, because it was funny, Mark just said, look, we'll just give him 3 or 4 days off after the Flying Mile, because he just wasn't coping with probably the level of the work that was actually required leading into the Trotting Cup as well as racing. And anyway, he got him back in on the Saturday. He worked really good Saturday morning, and then we went Cup Day, and it was a huge run Cup Day. And then Natalie and Mark were both saying, oh, we might not go to the Inters, but let's see how he recovers. And anyway, Phil Crichton, we'd said to everybody, look, there's a good chance he won't go. And Phil rang and said, look, I've heard that he's actually going. And I said, well, yeah, there'd been a bit of discussion that he may, but I haven't had it confirmed. So anyway, I gave Mark and Nat a ring, and I think it was Nat said, look, he's full of himself. So I think we'll go and we'll try and give him an easy run through the heats and then see what he can do in the final if he copes with it. Well, yeah, I don't know what Natalie's idea of easy is, but I don't think the 3 runs he had were too easy. So, yeah.
No, exactly. He probably did more work than any other horse in the series. As you say, luck just never seemed to fall his way.
No, well, he's one of those horses that whenever we chased him out of the barrier when he was young, he could get a little bit, a bit of the speed wobbles early. But if you let him settle into his rhythm and he's happy, then he just rolls along, and it doesn't worry him sitting out wide. I know he's covering the extra ground all the time, but he's such a relaxed dude. If you look at him in the running, he's just doing what he wants to do. And I mean, that run we thought the run in the first night was spectacular. Then he blew that away on the second night over the 1700, and then the Friday night of the third heat. But just when the speed, the Aussies were in front and the power was all on it, in front, and that just backed off him a little bit, let him just coast to the zone where he was happy. And then, I was standing on the steps at Alexandra Park there, and I said to Ken Brecken, we've got a show here. There's no way that he can win. Let's see if he runs in the first 4 or 5. It will be an outstanding effort. And then when he straightened up, it was electrifying, really, to pick up Chase Auckland the way he did. And he found the line so strong that night, really, it was an unbelievable run.
Yeah.
And then the final, again, we just decided we weren't going to, Natalie decided, really. We never talked driving tactics. She just let him roll out of the gate, and it didn't worry him sitting part. He did that sort of thing he enjoys.
Yeah, and you must have been thrilled with the way that the fixer got home too.
Oh, he was super, wasn't he? He's finally getting back to his best where he was last year. Those feet have just annoyed him, and he's just really finding his old self. And he looks good, and he's a lot happier in his running, because when he's really happy, Tossie, his head carriage is quite low when he's just cruising along, and I've said that a couple of times. He's not racing like he did last season with his head carriage during the races and what have you. But then the last couple of runs up in Auckland, he's appeared to be back to his old self, really.
Yeah. Well, coming down from Cloud 9, Phil, of course, we're not far away from Christmas and the holiday racing season. Obviously, New Year's Eve is going to be a big night for you, but have you and Glenys got plans to get around the country and take in some racing action?
Yeah, we will, depending on where the horses are going. Hopefully we've got some in Omacare. We're just down in our caravan in the Mackenzie country. We're not actually going to be in Auckland on New Year's Eve. We have all our girls home this year. Every second year all the kids come back for Christmas. So
Great.
It would look a bit poor if we took off to the races for New Year's Eve. So we'll do what we normally do. We'll set the TV up in the gazebo down in our camp and watch them. And from there this year, unfortunately, we're great travellers, but every now and then the kids and family and grandkids have got to come first, really, and this is one of them, so yeah.
Exactly. Well, what better place to spend it? As you say, you've got all the mod cons, you can enjoy it while you're relaxing as well, and, have people around you that are watching it and enjoying it with you.
Yeah, no, we'll have all our camping mates will be around us, and we do glamping. I don't go camping without the Sky, so I can watch the TV.
Good.
For the races. I don't miss much.
Well, good on you, Phil. Thank you so much for your time today, and I wish you and Glenys all the very best for Christmas and also the New Year as well. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks, Jess, and you a Merry Christmas and everyone else out there in the harness racing community. Thanks a lot.
Hi, Razor here from Canterbury Rugby. When you need airport parking, choose a team that's on the ball. Meet at Airpark Canterbury and get their free Mercedes shuttle to drop you right off at the terminal. Airpark Canterbury have the cheapest 24/7 airport parking and you'll never get left on the sidelines. Give Airpark Canterbury a try, airparkcanterbury.co.nz.
There's always a park for me at Airpark Canterbury.
Well, of course, when you looked at the dominance of the All-Stars stable over the Inter-Dominion Carnival and Grand Final night, one thing that was apparent too when you looked at the breeding side of things was the dominance of the trotting stallion Majestic Sun. Joining me from Alabar is General Manager Graeme Henley. Graeme, congratulations. The Inter-Dominion Quinella, but also on the undercard, being able to record that Quinella with Oscar Bonavina and Enhance Your Calm as well.
It's a big thrill for us to, Quinella of, a Grand Circuit feature like the Inter-Dominion Trot, and, it just follows on from the wonderful job that Majestic Sun's doing, but we really enjoyed it, and, and Quinella, that with, Winterfell and Majestic Man was great, but, you could argue that two of his most exciting horses weren't there either, with Oscar Bonavina being in the junior free-for-all and Sunday Sun having a wee spell, so, a huge thrill, and it just, underlines the great job the horse is doing at the moment.
Oh, of course, and when you start looking at the progeny, as you say, Sunday Sun also won over the Moon, Enhance Your Calm. In what is probably one of the most even and exciting times in the trotting side of things, Graeme, it's probably even harder to be a dominant stallion with the choice that people have.
It is, and Majestic Sun's doing a wonderful job, and he's not only competing against the horses that are here, but he's also competing against all the champion sires around the world that are available here via frozen semen, and that sort of even makes what he's doing even more, more wonderful. He's always competing against the progeny of Love You and Muscle Hill and all those horses from overseas. So it is tremendous, and it is an exciting time with the trotters as well, because quite often in the trotting ranks is a couple of old war horses that just not win everything, but they dominate that class. But at the moment, there's a lot of 4 and 5 year old trotters coming through. That's really exciting, and we're rapt that the majority of them are by Majestic Sun. Yeah.
Oh, it's a phenomenal result. And how has the support been again this season, Graeme, as you start to wind down the breeding season at Alabar?
He's had another really good book of mares. It's hard in the trotting ranks because there's actually not a lot of trotting mares between here and Australia. And a horse like Majestic Sun, because he's been available for a few seasons now, a lot of breeders have bred to him. So, they're enamoured by the thought of being able to go to Father Patrick or Trixton or What the Hill or all those types of horses. But, we've served another really good book with Majestic Sun. He'll serve just short of 200 mares between here and Australia, which in a market where there's probably only 700 trotting mares in total, that's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. And just quickly, while we are chatting to you, Graeme, the pacing side of things, you've got a who's who really of the pacing stallions available to breeders as well. How has support been on that side?
It's been a really hot and cold year. Our hot stallions like Art Major and Always Be Mickey and Vincent have had wonderful books. But some of the other ones have not had ultimate sniper, win the Inter-Dominion final because he's a full brother to Machete. So that sort of, just reinforces what a great stallion prospect ultimate Machete is. So,
Yeah.
But once we got over the disappointment of Chase Hawkner not winning it, we were pretty thrilled that ultimate sniper won it for Machete. So But the other thing that was really exciting about the night was being able to parade El Sue there,
Of
lead out
course.
the Pacers final, and we love El Sue. We've been through a lot together, and I was just really thrilled that he was able to be there and be remembered for the great racehorse he was, not such the average sire he was. So I thought that was really cool for the horse to have his moment back in the sun again.
Oh, exactly, and I see Kendall Laidlaw had come back from Perth. He was very closely associated with the horse, and he was able to see him at Alabar. So the horse, as you say, he means a lot to a lot of people.
He does, and Kendall was just rapt to be able to lead him out, and he was coming home for Christmas anyway. He lives in Perth, but he was coming home for Christmas, but when he heard El Sue was going to be there, he changed his flight so he could get home in time to see it. When I heard he was going to be there, I said, hey, look, you're a big part of the horse, you lead him out, and he was just rapt, and I got a big kick out of just seeing the pleasure on his face. So no, it was really cool, and some of the ladies that used to race El Sue were there the other night, and they came up and got his photo taken with him. So I just thought it was really cool that the horse could be remembered for the great horse he was, because he was a superstar, and so it was just really enjoyed that.
Oh yeah, so many fond memories when you think of El Sue. I think even at one stage he was racing in his own colours designed by kids as well. So he was so important to the industry. Graeme, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate that this is a busy time for you and the team, so thanks for taking time out to chat. Congratulations for the dominance again with Majestic Sun, and I hope everything towards the end of the breeding season wraps up well for you and the team there.
Yeah, no, exactly, and thank you very much. And Majestic Sun's still only 16 years old, so his dad's still serving commercially in Canada, so hopefully he's got a lot of years in front of him. So fingers crossed, because he can certainly leave a top horse and we enjoy it.
At Airpark Canterbury, they've got no fancy gimmicks, just the best deal on airport car parking every day. In fact, bring Airpark any comparative offer and they'll match or beat it. Forget the gimmicks, get the best price guaranteed. Call 0800 Airpark for the cheapest 24/7 airport parking in Christchurch.
There's always a park for me at Airpark Canterbury.
Well, of course, one man that will be very relieved that the Inter-Dominion Carnival was over is bookmaker Richard Wilson. Richard will get to the damage soon enough, but let's start off with last Tuesday, Manawatu, of course, the Australasian Young Drivers Championship, adding a bit of interest to that meeting.
It certainly did, and what a turnaround happened there. Of course, the Aussie bloke 3 from 3 from the first round, and then Sarah O'Reilly sort of took control and didn't let go and won the thing in the end. So that was a pretty stunning turnaround. It was pretty quiet from a punting point of view there at Manawatu on Tuesday. There was $1,000 on Ace Strike at $5.50 being the best bet. A couple of handy top 3 collects as well. $3,000 on the Bandit Queen at $2.25 and $1,500 on Shake Your Booty at $3.90. And as always, a couple of big misses. $1,700 on Port Delight at $5.50, $1,000 at $4.60, and there was a $2,000 win bet on the Bandit Queen at $7.
Okay, and from Tuesday, Manawatu, they backed up on Thursday as well. Similar thing there?
Yeah, another big win, Sundine's Flyer, off another long handicap. Made one punter very happy, $5,000 on there at $2.70. There was another $1,000 bet, Ace Strike at $2.60 backing up, and $2,000 on Molly Duca at $2.05, very good collect. Going our way, $2,000 on Emmy Rose at $4.40, $2,000 on Jetson Hunter at $3.90, and $1,500 to win the Bandit Queen at $4.20.
Okay, and Friday night, of course, Auckland went back-to-back Friday, Saturday, but how did Friday go for you?
Yeah, punters had a good warm-up, got their eye in nicely for Saturday. Some big collects on Friday night. Be My Rock smashed in race 1, opened at $9.50, closed at $6. There was $1,000 on at $9.50, $1,200 at $7.50, $900 at $7, and another $900 at $6, the largest bets. Also very well backed was It's All About Faith in race 4. Opened at 4, drifted $4.80 on Friday morning. There wasn't much support there. But after lunch it certainly came. Krug was well backed before lunch, and then after lunch it was all about faith. Closed at the $2.70 favourite and got home. There was 2,000 on at 480, 1,500 at 350, and 2,000 at 270, the best bets. Other big wins came from 3,200 on Probizio at 4, 3,000 on Maida Killen at 240. A couple that we managed to dodge there, 1,000 on Galleon's Victory at 750, 3,700 on Krug at 3, and there were two $3,000 bets on Swiss Miss, both at $3.
And of course, complementing that meeting, Richard, we had Addington. Punters go okay there?
Yeah, had a pretty good night for them at Addington. 1,400 on Majestic Chevron at 350, 2,000 better than fast at 380, $2,000 bets on Lovey Dovey Moment at both 330 and 310, $3,000 on Smoke and Buy at 195, and 350 on Cheezel at 12 all got home. Missing the mark there, 3,750 on Change is Good at $2.60. There are a couple of $1,500 bets, Arden Roanoke at $2.10, 2,000 on One Apollo at 6, 2,000 Sudley Change at $2.90, and another 5,000 at $2.50. And there was $3,000 on Sweet Mary to run top 3 at $1.85.
Okay, and of course that brings us to the big night Saturday, Inter-Dominion Grand Final night. Richard, just let us know, hit us, what happened for you guys?
Yeah, well, it was like Christmas came early. The only thing I was missing was a red suit. Felt pretty much like Santa for most of the meeting. The first 9 favourites all won, and then to top things off, the well-backed second favourite got home in the last. So, yeah, pretty much a disaster for us. Multi's a big killer again. It's very hard to find someone that didn't have a winning multi-bet on Saturday night. And let's talk about the single bets. They weren't going too good for us either. Kicked off in the first with Dina Bolt, 1,500 at 350, 1,000 at 320, 5,000 at 290, 2,000 at 280, and a few $1,000 bets at 270. So right off the bat we're in trouble. Copy that. Gave us some hope with an early gallop, but he got home nonetheless in the next. Punters with 2,000 on at $2.50, 2,500 at 240, multiple $1,000 and $2,000 bets at 220. Bit of an anxious watch early, but then he got round to the lead and won. Oscar Bonavino was up next, bounced back from his Dominion gallop with a faultless win. 4,000 on at 128 and 2,000 at 125 weren't too painful for us, but there was a massive pile of multis picking up the pace there. Similar story, Amazing Dream, 3,000 and $2,500 bets at 140 and another 2,000 at 135. And then there was 2,700 on Belle of Montana at 125. Again, it was the stack of multis that was starting to hurt there. 5,000 on Winterfell at 185, the biggest win bet on the InterDom final for the Trotters. There was also 5,000 on Massive Metro to run top 4 at $3.10, so that didn't do much for us. And much like Copy That, another masterpiece seemed to feel sorry for us at the start of the race and gave us a bit of hope, but then got sorted out and dashed that hope right on the line. 4,500 on at 240, 1,000 at 240, 8,000 at $2, the best bets on him. And then we come to the final for the paces. Ultimate Sniper, 3,400, 1,900 and $1,500 bets were the biggest ones, all on him at $1.45. He never moved from the $1.45. A couple of top 4 bets there that weren't great either. 2,000 on the Fixer at 220, 300 on Max Shard at $10, 2,300 at $1.14 and 2,500 at $1.13. The biggest single bets on Self Assured after he opened at $1.15. But he was just basically adding between 15 and 13% to all those multis. A couple of $2,000 bets on Have Horse Will Travel at 480 and 460. The icing on the cake for the punters in the last. A few big bets that did miss out throughout the night. 3,000 on Down to the Bone at 390, 2,000 Gliding Away at 550, 1,000 on Mighty Louie at 12, 1,000 on Flying Even Better at 7, 2,000 Need You Now at 480, 1,700 on Marcoola at 6. There was 1,000 to win Massive Metro at 26, 3,000 on Classy Brigade at 650, 2,000 on Cruise Bromac at 7, and in the last 4,000 Resonate at 390.
Yeah, and as I say, you'll be very glad that night is over, thank goodness for your team. And of course, it wasn't easy for punters because they then had to head to Banks Peninsula on Sunday on the grass surface there.
Yeah, exactly. They the pockets were full and confidence very high, and the roll kept going there at Mott. Cheddar Valley plunged in from 750 to 380. Again, another one that gave us a bit of hope with an early gallop, but absolutely bolted in. If you just looked at from the top of the straight to the finish, you'd say what a brilliant win. But the early gallop did give us a wee bit of hope. There was 640 on at 750, 2,000 at 480, another 2,000 at 420, the biggest bets there. And another one well back, Matt Damon, 1,500 at 280, 5,000 at 270, 2,500 at $2.50, and 1,200 at 240. Different story there, not much worries. He eventually got to the lead, way too good. Other good collects, $60 on Isla's Joy at 51. There was 200 on Ella Louise at 12 in the last. And not much going our way really, but one that punters did get wrong, Portray of Romac, very strongly backed in race 5, 2,700 at 350, 2,000 at 330, 1,000 at 290. And there was 1,400 Young Stranger at 750 and 3,200 on Sounds Like Art at 260. So we did get a little bit back there.
Okay, and of course on Sunday as well, Winton, a small fight back for you.
Yeah, we're trying our best there, and we got a little bit back at Winton, but just a drop in the bucket really. Went a lot of big bets there actually. 2,100 on Cracker Hill at $1.35, cruised home in race 2. 500 at 450 and 500 at 420 on Hot Staff, got home in race 3. 1,700 on Countess of Arden at 225 to run top 3. We're glad it wasn't on to win. She won race 6. The biggest miss there, Please Shut Up, and there was 1,400, $3,000 bet and a $2,000 bet, all at the 220. So a little bit there off Please Shut Up.
Okay, and what about multi of the week for us, Richard? What have you found?
It took me about an hour and a half to sort through the multitude of winning multis, Jess. But I come up with one, $150 spend. It's all about Faith at 380, Dina Bolt at 350, Copy That 260, Oscar Bonavina 130, Amazing Dream 135, and Self Assured 115. So for the $150, $10,468.
Oh, gee, no wonder you had a night of horror there with that $150 turned into $10K. What about worst cash-out option?
I'm not sure what happened here. Dina Bolt at 350. There's pretty much the same horses. Oscar Bonavina 135, Amazing Dream 135, Winterfell 190, Another Masterpiece 240, Ultimate Sniper 145, and Self Assured 115. So of course they all won, and that would have returned $9,700 for it was a $200 multi. But for some reason the nerves kicked in late on Friday night, and it was cashed out for $190.
Jeez. Okay, well that must make you feel a little bit better, obviously, with that cash out option. Richard, of course, we're getting into the silly season, and you'll have a busy enough week ahead of you.
Yes, indeed. We've got Forbury Park tomorrow, which is a little bit strange, but as you say, it's the silly season, anything can happen. Cambridge on Thursday, Addington, the Fast 10 meeting on Friday, along with Auckland. Then the Wairio Trotting Club at Winton on Saturday, and Rangiora rounded out on Sunday.
Yep, of course, and then we've got Christmas Eve next Tuesday as well. It's all go here in the harness racing world. Richard, thank you so much for your time as always, and thank you so much for your help with the harness half hour. It's going on a bit of a break while they find a replacement for me, so I'm sure you'll be back in some way, shape or form in the future, but I just want to say thank you so much for all of your help. It's been a pleasure working with you over the last couple of years, and I'm sure our paths will cross again. Yeah,
no worries, Jess. Yeah, thank you very much for having me on and letting me tell the punters about some of the bets. It's been good for me too to review what's been happening, and I'm sure we'll catch up sometime shortly.
Yeah, maybe on the catch driver track, eh?
Indeed. Hopefully you're behind me.
Hey, thanks, Richard.
Good on you. Thank you, Jess.
Coming up harness racing wise this week on Wednesday, we've got Forbury Park in Dunedin, Thursday night harness racing Waikato, then Friday we have the running of the inaugural Fast 10 meeting at Addington Raceway, that's during the day, and Alexandra Park at night. Saturday, Wairio will take centre stage, and Sunday Rangiora for their Christmas at the races grass track meeting, whilst on Christmas Eve, which is next Tuesday believe it or not, we have Ashburton and Cambridge. And that's it for this week's Harness Half Hour, thanks to Airpark Canterbury and HRNZ Marketing. Merry Christmas and stay tuned for our special holiday edition of the Harness Half Hour, which is coming out later this week.